one in the neighborhood that could run fastest, and whenever we chose for games or anything, I was chosen first. Because they knew I could run faster and get away from the enemy or whatever game we were playing. Run, sheep, run, I remember we played.
What were the games that you played?
Run, sheep, run, but I don't remember how it went. But I know we'd scatter all over the neighborhood and hide, and it would be dark already, and they'd have to find us.
So then if they yelled run, sheep, run, then everybody ran to try to get back to the base or something?
Yeah,
Or?
get back safe without being caught by the other's team.
So it'd start with being hidden, and then from that hiding point you would want to be able to get back to the base or something, huh?
Yeah, which was in front of the Reed's house. Reed's owned the house. They bought my uncle's house when he lost it. He was going to lose it, so he sold it to him for $3,000. That's what houses were going for. It was a 3-bedroom house with a bathroom. Most of the houses in that neighborhood didn't even have a bathroom then. I remember when the sewer came through, and us kids used to play on that ditch that they had dug.
Big pile of dirt alongside the ditch and everything.
Yeah.
So that was South Minneapolis, and 1928 or something like that. They were just putting in sewers.
Yeah, 28 or 9. Yeah. Right before the
Depression.
banks failed, I suppose.
Yeah. And then all that probably came to a halt.
And the iceman came and delivered ice, and we'd put a card up in our window saying whether we wanted 25 or 50 or 75 or 100 pounds of ice. We could tilt the card, so the number at the top was the number he chose. And he'd deliver ice to our house, and while he was in delivering it, all the kids in the neighborhood would climb up and get all the little chips of ice and suck on them off the floor of the truck.
Off the floor of the ice truck. 100? Did he bring that 100 pounds in one block?
They could cut it so it was about 100 pounds. Yeah.
But he'd have 100-pound block of ice to get into your refrigerator, into your ice box.
We never got 100, but they could deliver that many if they had to. And when you were little and we were living in Glen Lake, Dad used to go to the ball games after work and pick up their ice that was left, take it home, and then we didn't have to buy any ice that way.
Because they had a concession stand with ice or something, he'd get that. He had to be an ice man as well as working, huh?
One time he wanted to teach me how to milk a cow because he had to go to a late meeting. He wouldn't be home until midnight, and the cow would be pretty miserable by then, you know. So he was going to show me how to milk a cow, and I get down this little 3-legged stool, and I'm pregnant with Patty. And it was tippy, and I was afraid of the cow and everything else, and the cow wouldn't let down any milk. So Dad said, well, I guess I'll have to come home at midnight and milk her. So he did. Do you remember the time that Chaz fell in the pig manure?
This is all when we had that little farm spot there by
in Glen Lake. And
Glen Lake, yeah.
Jack Schaefer was with Dad, and he was showing him the barn, and Chaz was along, and he was holding his hand, and Chaz slipped and fell right down in the pig manure. And Dad took him in the house and filled the tub of water, cold water.
Cold water. Just a round, circular wash tub kind of thing.
No, it was a regular bathroom.
Oh, you had a regular bathtub, but it wasn't...
Upstairs was a regular bathroom.
Was it plumbed? I mean, you could put the faucet and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. The water was cold, then why did no hot water? Or
he didn't wait for it to get hot.
He just filled it up?
Didn't blink. He just put him in there. Jack couldn't get over that.
He just sat there in the cold water and didn't blink, huh?
And then Dad stuffed all of his dirty clothes in my hamper and didn't tell me. And the next day, everything that was in the hamper was stinking and covered with pig manure, and I had to wash it all out.
Yeah, he probably thought you'd yell at him for letting him fall in the manure to start with. Did you even know that Chaz fell in the manure till...
Yeah, I knew, but I figured he'd know enough not to put the clothes in there. Because I was downstairs feeding Patty, I suppose, or something when he came in.
Well, you forgot you were dealing with Clayton. He'd never thought much about that sort of thing, right?
That's right, being a man.
Didn't he cook food in open a can of green beans and set it on the burner to warm it up so he wouldn't have any pan to wash when you were out of town?
He didn't bother to warm it up. He just ate it cold, soup or whatever. When I was in Crocker with you that time, we took the train and went to Crocker. That's when you said, Mommy, is this the road of life? You were about 4 then. We went to Crocker, and he stayed home for 3 days alone, or 4, whatever it was.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's when he did that?
Was that when, another time he took you to Crocker with him. And that's when he got off the train in our pasture. Had the guy hand you to him.
Yeah, that's one of those memories at that age that sticks with me. That was when we had that little farm spot again, right? How big was that? How many acres? 10?
35.
35? Okay. And he bought that land, right?
Yeah, and we sold it when we moved to Rapid City.
Yeah, and then when they built a bunch of roads and stuff out there, didn't they turn that into gravel pits and sell a lot of gravel out of it?
They sure did.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they said they'd pay for it with their flowers. They were raising camellias.
The people you sold it to?
Yeah. And then they built a nice new house up where we had our pig pasture. That summer was really hot when we moved there. That first summer, and Patty was a baby.
Uh-huh.
And we lost 2 pigs, and they were both registered, the only registered pigs we had.
Mm-hmm.
And they died of the heat.
Mm.
So Dad bought a bunch of extra hoses and brought them out and hooked them up. And I had to go climb down that hill and put hoses of pigs down several times a day. And I had this new baby. I wasn't very strong myself then, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But I had to do it to keep any more pigs from dying.
Oh, he brought, during the hot spell, he got the hoses so he didn't lose any more. I kind of remember, that's another thing I remember from that. It was kind of a creek or something down there.
Yeah, it was a creek. And they'd get near the creek as they could, but there were too many of them and they couldn't all get near the water.
Oh, so he got some
We
hoses?
had bought pigs from Mr. Carl Bloom, who sold us the house.
Uh-huh.
He was raising pigs and we bought some from him. They lived, but it was 2 registered ones that he bought from some farmer, and he drove his Model A car and bought the pigs and took the back seat out and put them in the back of the car and drove them home about, I don't know, it was 20 miles or so that he drove with those pigs in the back seat.
Dad put pigs in the back seat of your car,
Model A.
car, and we took the back seat out and put them in the back, 2 pigs, and like he was hauling, like he turned it into a farm truck.
They're the ones that died when it was so hot.
Yeah. You know, Uncle Son put, a couple sheep in the back of his car and took them clear out to Montana from South Dakota. And I always got kind of a kick out of that. I didn't realize Dad had done the same obvious thing to a farm boy, where you do what you got to do to get your livestock home.
Yeah,
Huh?
and then when we moved to Rapid City, Dad wrote to his dad and said we were moving, and he said, do you want to buy any of my cows? Or pigs, I guess it was, whatever it was anyway, and he never got an answer. He says, that's typical of Hank, takes him forever to make up his mind, well, I gotta sell them.
Uh-huh.
So he sold them, and then we get a letter saying, yeah, I want them. Well, they were gone already.
Uh-huh. Well, how would you have gotten him out there in the back?
They'd had a blizzard out there, that's why he wasn't able to answer him.
Oh, okay, they couldn't get any mail out of there at that time. Well, how would he have gotten the pigs out to Crocker?
He had borrowed somebody's truck, I suppose.
Uh-huh. I was wondering if he was going to put them in the back seat. How many pigs did you have total at one time?
I don't remember.
20?
Quite a few, probably, at least, because they had babies. And our pigs lived, and Mr. Carl Bloom's died because their mother ate them. He wasn't feeding them right, and she wasn't getting enough protein, so she ate her baby pigs after they were born.
So how many did you start out with before any babies were born then?
I don't remember.
Just a few, though?
Probably half a dozen or
Yeah.
a dozen, maybe.
Okay, and then did you just sell the baby pigs that fall, like, or keep them for a couple of years, or?
I don't remember how he handled them.
You might have kept the females
We
and
didn't live there more than a couple of years, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we only
I
lived.
remember one time we had the vet come out and do whatever he did to
Castrate them and all that?
Castrate him, and one pig, his intestines were hanging out, and he was walking around in the yard, and so I called Clayton at the office, and he came home, and we called the vet, and he couldn't come, so he told us what to do and sew him up. So I held the squealing pig while Clayton sewed him up with string, and he went out in the yard, and he was walking like this. Clayton didn't do it.
Raise your
right.
hand up again over here. There you go.
They
Now,
were walking.
his
he was
feet
twisted up.
legs were kind of crossed?
Yeah. And Clayton hadn't done something right. I don't know what it was. Anyway, the pig died.
Oh. I have a picture of in my head of out at Carl's a baby pig walking around like that with his intestines out, and I don't remember what happened or whatever. But you had to sit there on the ground kind of and hold that pig while Dad was trying to be a vet
The dining room table.
on the dining room table, and you had Patty in the other arm, right?
Oh, she was sitting in a little car, a little jump seat. But anyway,
Was she watching all that? Was she right there?
oh, she probably was.
But she was just what, a couple months old.
Probably, but she was 8 months old when we moved to Rapid City. I know.
Yeah, and she was born when we lived there. And how long would we live there before? How long did we live there at Glen Lake on that farm deal altogether?
Not even a year, I don't think. Well, a little over a year. I think we moved in the fall, and we moved to Rapid City in March the next year after Patty was born. She was born in July the following year, and then we lived. Anyway, we didn't know when we bought the house, but the furnace wasn't working, and we saw this stove in the dining room. We wondered why it was there.
Out in Rapid?
No, in
Glen Lake? Uh-huh.
There was a stove like we had in Crocker,
Uh-huh.
and there was a furnace. Well, the furnace wasn't working, and the guy didn't tell us that when we bought it. In those days, you didn't have to make claims about anything, you know.
Uh-huh.
They passed that law later.
Yeah.
So we had to, and that stove kept, it was right after the war, of course, so the fuel wasn't very clean and good. It kept clogging up, and I'd have to call Dad at the office, and he'd have to come home and unclog it, and I'd have to go to bed with you kids and keep you warm in the dining room, because that was the only room that was warm from that stove, and then when it quit, then we didn't have any heat in the middle of the winter.
So the furnace didn't work, and then the stove started breaking down too, huh?
Well, the fuel,
Yeah.
the stirred had plugged up, and he had to unplug it all the time. But he knew how to do it anyway.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
we'd crawl in the bed in the dining room, and then we had a fold-out bed there, and we'd crawl in there and keep warm until he got home from the office and unplugged it.
Was that did we have upstairs bedrooms there that the only
Yeah.
heat came up anyway was up through the they weren't
Your
registers,
bedroom had heat coming up through the register in the
but it
ceiling.
wasn't a register like out of the furnace, so wasn't it just whatever the heat was below in the room just kind of rose up in there?
Yeah, from the stove in the dining room.
Uh-huh.
Your bedroom was right above the dining room.
But there was no direct duct or anything. It just what was in the air went up because the heat rises just went up through that little hole in the.
Yeah. And when I was pregnant with Patty, I used to walk from our bedroom, which was unheated, to the bathroom, and I got freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a slanty floor, I remember, and I'd get a chill, and then I'd get nauseous.
Ah, we had a slanted floor. You mean that the house was that old that the floors just the house was.
Slanted, yeah.
Huh. I'm